Are you in your 60s, 70s, or even beyond? Eating well, staying active, doing everything right, and still worried sick about your heart and circulation? What if I told you that something as simple as a teaspoon, just one tiny teaspoon, of a specific nutrient every single day could fast-track your blood vessels back toward health? Not some expensive new drug, not a complicated supplement regimen, just a small, everyday, food-based habit with real, measurable, scientifically proven effects on your physiology. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I've spent decades studying how food impacts our vascular health at the cellular level. And what I'm about to share with you today could fundamentally change how you think about aging, circulation, and cardiovascular disease. Here's what's really going on inside your body right now, whether you realize it or not. As you age, your blood vessels, the very highways that carry life-giving oxygen and nutrients to every single cell in your body, slowly, steadily lose their ability to relax and dilate. That loss of flexibility, called endothelial dysfunction, is a root cause of high blood pressure, reduced circulation, crushing fatigue, memory fog, and far more serious outcomes like heart attacks and devastating strokes. But here's the part most doctors never explain. It's not just about plaque buildup or cholesterol levels. It's about how well your blood vessels can widen when your body needs them to. This vascular flexibility depends entirely on a powerful molecule called nitric oxide, your body's internal vasodilator, your natural blood vessel relaxer. Nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide so blood can flow freely and efficiently. But as we age, and especially after menopause in women, our ability to produce nitric oxide through the usual metabolic pathway declines dramatically. Once that happens, arteries stiffen like old rubber bands, blood pressure climbs, and the risk of cardiovascular disease rises sharply and dangerously. Let me explain this with a simple but powerful analogy that makes this crystal clear. Imagine your circulatory system as a massive highway system. In your youth, that highway is like a modern freeway. Wide lanes, smooth pavement, efficient on-ramps that let traffic flow easily without bottlenecks. But over time, through years of poor diet, chronic stress, systemic inflammation, or simply the natural process of aging, those lanes gradually shrink. The shoulders crumble, potholes develop, and suddenly, even a normal amount of traffic causes dangerous backups. That backup in your body shows up as persistently high blood pressure, reduced oxygen delivery to your tissues, and dramatically higher strain on your already overworked heart. But nitric oxide acts like the brilliant traffic engineer who expands lanes, smooths traffic flow, and keeps the entire highway system clear and functioning optimally. What the research definitively shows is that consuming dietary nitrate, found abundantly in certain vegetables like beetroot, arugula, and spinach, gives your body a powerful shortcut to producing nitric oxide. In rigorous clinical studies with older adults, even moderate daily intake of nitrate-rich beet juice dramatically improved blood flow and vascular function compared to nitrate-free control treatments. That improved function, if sustained consistently over time, could significantly lower your risk for cardiovascular disease. Today on this channel, I'm going to completely unpack this science for you. Why nitric oxide matters more than most people ever realize. How a simple teaspoon equivalent of nitrate-rich food can fundamentally change your vascular physiology. How this translates into real actionable protocols you can use daily starting today. By the end of this talk, you'll understand exactly why seniors can benefit so dramatically from this approach and precisely how to implement it in a practical, sustainable way that fits into your life. If this sounds useful so far and you want more science-driven, root-cause health insights that actually work, make sure you subscribe right now because we're decoding this physiology every single day. Why aging shrinks nitric oxide production and how that chokes blood flow. As we begin, I want you to picture something incredibly simple yet profound. Your blood vessels are not rigid pipes. They're living, flexible, dynamic tissues that constantly expand and contract based on what your body needs in any given moment. And the single molecule that controls that expansion and relaxation is nitric oxide, or NO. Here's what's really going on inside your body as you age, and this is critical to understand. Your natural ability to produce nitric oxide steadily, relentlessly declines, not by a modest 10% or 20%, but by as much as 50% by age 40 and up to a staggering 75% by age 70. When nitric oxide production drops this dramatically, your arteries lose their ability to relax properly. They stiffen, they narrow, and the smooth inner layer that lines them, the endothelium, becomes far less responsive to signals. Let me explain this with a simple analogy that makes it viscerally clear. Imagine a brand new balloon. When it's fresh out of the package, you can inflate it easily. It stretches smoothly and expands with almost no effort at all. But leave that same balloon in a drawer for a few years, and what happens? The surface hardens, the elasticity completely fades, and now you have to strain just to get even a small amount of air inside. Aging arteries behave exactly the same way. Without enough nitric oxide circulating, they lose their natural elasticity. Blood flow slows to a crawl, pressure rises dangerously, and your heart has to work dramatically harder than it should just to pump blood through narrowed vessels. This is one of the fundamental root causes of why so many seniors suddenly find themselves developing high blood pressure, even when their diet hasn't changed at all. The change isn't the food you're eating. The change is the loss of vascular flexibility. Nitric oxide has three primary life-saving jobs inside your body. First, it relaxes the inner smooth muscles of your arteries so blood can flow freely without resistance. Second, it prevents platelets from clumping together and forming dangerous clots. Third, it powerfully reduces oxidative stress inside the vessel wall itself. When nitric oxide levels fall below optimal, the exact opposite happens. Arteries constrict tightly, blood thickens. Inflammation rises throughout the vascular system, and small plaques begin to harden and accumulate. This is precisely why so many seniors describe feeling cold feet, slower thinking, or dramatically lower stamina. These symptoms are not random bad luck. They are early warning signs of reduced circulation and severely impaired nitric oxide signaling. But here's the incredibly empowering part that gives me hope for every senior watching this. Your body can rebuild nitric oxide production even in your 70s or 80s if you give it the right raw materials and support. Now let me bring in a critical, practical physiology moment that changes everything. Your body actually has two completely different ways of making nitric oxide. Understanding this difference is absolutely essential. The first pathway is the enzymatic pathway, which depends on an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase, or NOS. This is the pathway that declines sharply, dramatically with age. This is the system that's failing you. The second pathway is the dietary pathway, which uses nitrate directly from food. And here's the game changer. This pathway does not decline with age. It's your built-in backup system that works just as effectively at 75 as it did at 25. And for seniors, this dietary pathway becomes your primary, most reliable route to restoring nitric oxide levels. This is one powerful reason why many people feel a noticeable, almost immediate improvement in warmth, energy, and stamina within just hours of consuming nitrate-rich foods like beetroot. They're tapping into a pathway that still works beautifully even after decades of aging. And this brings us to something critically important that almost no one talks about. Even if you think you're eating well, your nitric oxide levels may still be dangerously low. Why? Because the NOS enzymatic pathway is heavily influenced by chronic stress, systemic inflammation, physical inactivity, and hormonal changes. For example, after menopause, women lose estrogen's protective effect on blood vessels, and estrogen is a major booster of nitric oxide production. That's precisely why heart disease risk jumps significantly after age 55 in women. It's not just about cholesterol. It's about losing this vascular protection. So the real solution for seniors isn't simply eat healthier in some vague way. It's specifically to support the pathway your body still responds to powerfully, the nitrate to nitrite to nitric oxide pathway. If this is helpful so far, and if you genuinely appreciate learning the true root causes of aging and metabolism instead of surface-level advice, consider subscribing right now. I post new, deeply researched content every single day to help you take full control of your health naturally. Now, in the next section, we're going to go much deeper into that second pathway, the dietary shortcut, and how even 1 teaspoon a day of the right foods can reactivate nitric oxide production in a way your body can immediately use and benefit from. How dietary nitrates give your body a shortcut to restoring blood vessel flexibility. Now that you understand why nitric oxide naturally declines with age and why your enzymatic pathway is failing, let's talk about the solution your body still responds to brilliantly, the dietary nitrate pathway. This is the part most people never hear about in their doctor's office, yet it's one of the most powerful natural tools for vascular repair, especially designed for seniors. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you eat nitrate-rich vegetables like beetroot, arugula, spinach, or celery. These foods contain compounds called nitrates. When they enter your mouth, an absolutely fascinating story begins. As soon as those nitrates touch your tongue, friendly bacteria living naturally in the grooves of your tongue convert them into nitrites. These nitrites then travel down to your stomach and bloodstream, where they transform into nitric oxide, the miracle molecule that relaxes your blood vessels and restores circulation. Let me explain this with a simple but powerful analogy. Think of dietary nitrates as preloaded batteries. Your body doesn't have to manufacture the electricity from scratch. It just has to convert the existing charge, and because this process does not depend on the enzyme system that declines with age, seniors can produce nitric oxide just as effectively as someone decades younger, simply by supplying these charged nutrients through food. This is what makes dietary nitrates so uniquely powerful. They bypass the aging system entirely. They give your body a direct shortcut that works regardless of your age. What the research shows is absolutely remarkable. In controlled studies with older adults, a single serving of nitrate-rich beetroot led to measurable improvements in blood vessel dilation, reduced arterial stiffness, and dramatically improved endothelial function within just a few hours. The participants didn't need weeks or months to see results. Their blood vessels responded the very same day. This is why so many people report that their hands feel warmer, their thinking feels clearer, or their walking feels lighter and easier after consuming beet juice or nitrate-rich greens. These aren't subtle placebo effects. Nitric oxide physically widens arteries, increases oxygen delivery, and lowers the heart's workload almost immediately. Now, here's where the 1 teaspoon a day idea comes in, and this is practical magic. Concentrated beet powders, beet crystals, or small servings of beetroot juice concentrate often deliver the equivalent nitrate amount found in much larger servings of whole vegetables, typically around 300-400 milligrams of dietary nitrate, which is right in the therapeutic range used in clinical studies. When you scoop just 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder into water, you're essentially getting a clinical dose of nitrates in a form your body can convert quickly and efficiently. But the beauty of this protocol is that it doesn't require powders if you prefer real whole foods. 2 cups of raw spinach, 1 cup of arugula, or a single small beet can provide similar nitrate levels naturally. What matters most is consistency, giving your body that steady supply that supports nitric oxide production all day long. Now, here's a small but incredibly important detail that many people don't know and their doctors never mention. Your mouth bacteria are absolutely crucial for this system to work. If you use antiseptic mouthwash twice a day, you may be systematically killing the very bacteria that convert nitrates to nitrites. Studies have definitively shown that frequent antiseptic mouthwash use can actually increase blood pressure because it completely shuts down the nitrate to nitrite conversion step. It's like pouring fuel into your car but cutting the fuel line. The fuel is there, but it can't reach the engine. So one of the simplest and most powerful things you can do starting today is this: avoid antiseptic mouthwash and support healthy oral bacteria. Just that one change alone can dramatically increase your body's ability to make nitric oxide from food. This nitrate pathway becomes even more critical for seniors because it supports 2 things that typically decline sharply with age: blood vessel elasticity and oxygen delivery to muscles and the brain. This is precisely why older adults who add nitrate-rich vegetables to their daily routine often notice better stamina during walking or climbing stairs. The muscles are literally receiving more oxygen per heartbeat. In the next section, we're going to talk about exactly how much you actually need and why very small daily amounts, as little as a teaspoon of concentrated beetroot, can trigger these profound vascular benefits. This is where the protocol becomes beautifully simple and completely sustainable. Why just 1 teaspoon a day works, the dose that triggers real physiological change. Now that you understand how dietary nitrates convert into nitric oxide and why this pathway stays strong and functional even as we age, let's answer the question everyone wonders. Why does something as small as a teaspoon make such a big, noticeable difference? Here's what's really going on inside your body at the cellular level. Nitric oxide works on what scientists call a threshold system. That means your blood vessels don't need massive, overwhelming amounts of nitrate to respond. They need a minimum effective dose to activate the nitric oxide signaling pathways. And once you hit that threshold, even small additions trigger measurable, powerful effects. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine turning on a light in a dark room. You don't need to blast the bulb with more electricity than it can handle. You just need enough voltage to flip the switch. Once the switch is flipped, the whole room lights up instantly. Nitric oxide production behaves exactly the same way. A modest amount of dietary nitrate flips the biological switch for endothelial relaxation. In clinical research, that threshold tends to fall around 300-400 milligrams of nitrate per day. And here's the surprising, wonderful part. A single teaspoon of concentrated beetroot powder often contains 350-500 milligrams of dietary nitrate, right in the therapeutic range used in vascular studies. That means 1 small teaspoon hits the minimum dose your body needs to begin restoring nitric oxide signaling. Now, I want to make something absolutely clear. This isn't magic. This isn't wishful thinking. This is pure physiology. When you consume that teaspoon of beet powder or small amount of beet juice concentrate, here's exactly what happens over the next few hours. Minute 0, 20, nitrates enter your bloodstream and then circulate back to your mouth through your salivary glands. Minute 20, 90, oral bacteria convert nitrates into nitrites. This is your activation step. Hour 1 to 3, nitrites enter systemic circulation, especially concentrating in areas with low oxygen, your arteries, muscles, and brain. Hour 2 to 6, nitrites convert into nitric oxide, causing your arteries to relax, widen, and deliver significantly more oxygen throughout your body. Many people feel this transformation within hours. Warmer hands and feet, less heaviness in the legs, improved mental clarity, and occasionally noticeably lower blood pressure readings. Now let's connect this directly with aging. Seniors often struggle with circulation for 2 fundamental reasons. First, arteries have stiffened due to chronically low nitric oxide. Second, mitochondria, your cellular power plants, receive less oxygen, dramatically reducing energy production. That teaspoon-sized dose creates a temporary surge of nitric oxide that does 3 things your body desperately needs. It softens the arterial walls, making them more flexible. It improves microcirculation, especially in the legs and feet, and it enhances oxygen delivery, which directly supports energy and brain function. This is precisely why seniors often feel the effects more strongly than younger adults. The contrast is greater because the deficit is greater. A key principle I teach in functional medicine is this. Small inputs can create big physiological shifts when the system is undersupported. In other words, if your nitric oxide levels are very low, even a small increase feels like a major life-changing improvement. Now here's a practical question. What's the best way to take this teaspoon? There are 3 highly effective options. Option 1, 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder mixed in water, the most convenient and consistent method. Option 2, 1-2 ounces of beet juice concentrate, potent and fast-acting. Option 3, a small cooked beet or large handful of arugula, the whole food pathway. For most seniors, the powder is easiest because it delivers a consistent dose without needing to eat a large volume of vegetables every single day. Timing matters significantly too. Research suggests that taking nitrates 1 to 2 hours before physical activity, such as walking or morning chores, enhances oxygen delivery during those activities. This can noticeably reduce breathlessness and improve stamina. If this is helpful and you're getting genuine value from these whiteboard-style scientific explanations, consider subscribing right now. I share science-driven, practical metabolic guidance every single day. The hidden enemies of healthy arteries, oral bacteria, stress hormones, and processed oils. Up to this point, we've focused on how to increase nitric oxide production. But equally important, especially for seniors, is understanding what's quietly blocking nitric oxide inside your body every single day. These hidden disruptors can completely undo the benefits of nitrate-rich foods, even if you're doing everything else right. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Nitric oxide is a fragile signaling molecule. It can be boosted quickly, but it can also be shut down just as fast by a handful of everyday habits. And most people have absolutely no idea these habits are interfering with their circulation. Let's start with the first one because it's the most surprising. Enemy number 1, Antiseptic mouthwash, the nitric oxide killer. Remember how your nitrate pathway works? When you eat nitrate-rich vegetables, beneficial bacteria on your tongue convert nitrates into nitrites. That's the crucial first step in creating nitric oxide. But here's the devastating problem. Antiseptic mouthwashes don't just kill bad bacteria. They wipe out all bacteria, including the helpful species absolutely needed to activate nitric oxide. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you're trying to bake bread. Nitrates are the flour, nitrites are the dough, and nitric oxide is the finished loaf. Mouthwash is like throwing away the yeast. Suddenly, the whole system fails completely, even if you have all the ingredients. This is why studies definitively show that people who use antiseptic mouthwash twice daily often experience higher blood pressure, lower nitrate conversion, and reduced improvements from beetroot or nitrate-rich foods. If you want nitric oxide to rise, the first step is beautifully simple. Stop using antiseptic mouthwash. Switch to saltwater rinses or mild herbal rinses if you need freshness, but keep those tongue bacteria alive and thriving. Enemy number 2, chronic stress and cortisol spikes. The next hidden enemy lives in your bloodstream, not your bathroom cabinet. It's cortisol, your primary stress hormone. When cortisol is elevated from emotional stress, poor sleep, or even chronic inflammation, it does two things that directly attack your arteries. It constricts blood vessels, and it suppresses endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that helps produce nitric oxide naturally. Think of cortisol like tightening your garden hose. Even if you turn up the water pressure, the flow is severely restricted. This is why people under chronic stress often experience cold hands and feet, head pressure, restlessness, reduced stamina, and increased blood pressure. And the tricky part, many seniors live with chronic cortisol elevation without even realizing it, often due to loneliness, financial stress, chronic pain, or poor sleep patterns. This is why stress reduction isn't optional for circulation. It's absolutely central. Practical ways to lower cortisol include 5 to 10 minutes of slow nasal breathing, a brief walk after meals, morning sunlight exposure, a consistent sleep window, and gentle stretching before bed. Each of these helps your arteries relax enough for nitric oxide to do its healing work. Enemy number 3, processed seed oils and low-grade inflammation. The final major disruptor is hidden in many modern foods, oxidized seed oils from soybean, corn, and sunflower oil. These oils generate low-grade inflammation that damages the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your arteries responsible for producing nitric oxide. Here's the analogy. Your endothelium is like a velvety, smooth riverbed. Inflammation scratches it, roughens it, and causes debris and oxidative stress to cling to it. This dramatically reduces your nitric oxide output and stiffens the artery wall. Limiting seed oils and choosing anti-inflammatory fats helps restore endothelial function. Prioritize extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, nuts and seeds, and omega-3 rich foods like salmon or sardines. These fats help calm inflammation, allowing nitric oxide to signal more effectively. So here's the big takeaway. You can boost nitric oxide dramatically, but only if you stop blocking it, protect your oral bacteria, reduce stress hormones, support your endothelium with clean anti-inflammatory fats. If this section is helpful and you appreciate learning the exact mechanisms behind better circulation, feel free to subscribe. I share content like this every day to help you rebuild health from the inside out. The senior-focused circulation protocol, timing, dosage, and how to pair nitrates with meals. By now you understand the why behind nitric oxide and the how behind dietary nitrates, but what most people really want to know is this: exactly how do I use this every day to improve my circulation? This is where we put everything together into a simple, senior-friendly, step-by-step protocol that supports blood vessel flexibility, healthy blood pressure, and improved oxygen delivery, all with small, sustainable habits. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you follow a structured nitrate protocol. Nitric oxide levels rise in a predictable rhythm after consumption, peaking around 2 to 3 hours later, then slowly tapering over the next 6 hours. When you time your intake correctly, you give your arteries a daily window of improved elasticity. And over time, that repeated pattern trains your blood vessels to relax more easily. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your arteries are like a stiff rubber band. Stretching it once doesn't change anything permanently, but stretching it gently every single day at the same time slowly restores elasticity. That's exactly what a consistent nitrate routine does for your vascular system. Here's the senior-focused protocol I recommend, backed by physiology, simple to follow, and aligned with how nitric oxide naturally cycles. Step 1. The teaspoon dose. Your morning nitrate activation, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. What to take: 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder mixed in water, or 2 ounces of beet juice concentrate, or a large handful of arugula or spinach if you prefer whole foods. This delivers the therapeutic 300-400 milligrams of nitrates used in clinical studies. Why morning? Cortisol starts high in the morning. Nitrates help counter vascular constriction. Your digestive system is more insulin sensitive early in the day. Most people walk, move, or run errands mid-morning, a perfect time to boost oxygen delivery. What you'll feel: warming of the hands and feet, easier breathing during activity, a gentle lift in clarity or mental energy. Most seniors feel these changes within hours. Step 2. Pair it with vitamin C for better conversion. This is a little-known but powerful enhancer. Vitamin C helps stabilize nitric oxide and assists in converting nitrites more efficiently. Pair your teaspoon with a squeeze of lemon in your water, a few orange slices, 250-500 milligrams of supplemental vitamin C. Think of vitamin C as a shield that prevents nitric oxide from degrading too quickly. Step 3. Light movement within 60 to 90 minutes. This step is essential. Nitric oxide plus light activity creates synergy. Arteries dilate, muscles receive more oxygen, blood pressure eases naturally, mitochondria become more efficient. For seniors, I recommend a 10-15-minute walk. Light stretching, easy cycling, gentle housework, or gardening. You don't need intensity, you just need movement. This movement locks in the benefits of your morning nitrate dose. Step 4. Keep mouth bacteria healthy. Avoid antiseptic mouthwash, especially in the morning. Your oral bacteria are the activators of nitrates. Brushing teeth is fine. It's the antibacterial rinses that cause problems. If you feel you need a rinse, choose salt water, herbal rinses, baking soda solutions. These preserve the bacteria needed for conversion. Step 5. Midday polyphenol boost. Optional but powerful. Polyphenols found in berries, pomegranates, dark chocolate, and green tea support endothelial function and extend the nitric oxide effect. A simple option: a small bowl of berries, a cup of green tea, 1 square of 85% dark chocolate. Think of polyphenols as nitric oxide multipliers. Step 6. Hydration and minerals. Nitric oxide dilates blood vessels, but water helps fill them. Aim for 8 to 12 ounces of water with your nitrate dose. A pinch of mineral salt if you tend to have low blood pressure or dizziness. Hydration ensures your arteries can expand and carry blood effectively. If you're finding these protocols helpful and enjoy this practical, science-backed approach to circulation, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you optimize metabolic and vascular health naturally. Companion habits that multiply. Your results: walking, hydration, and heat therapy. At this point, you've learned how dietary nitrates boost nitric oxide, how to avoid the hidden disruptors, and how to implement a daily protocol that steadily improves blood flow. Now, we're going to amplify those results by adding a few simple habits that seniors can use to dramatically enhance circulation, without medications, without supplements, and without strain. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Nitric oxide opens the door for blood flow, but your daily habits determine how wide that door stays open. Think of nitric oxide as the signal and your lifestyle as the execution. When you pair the two, you create a physiological environment where blood vessels can actually remodel themselves, becoming more elastic, more responsive, and more efficient. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Imagine your blood vessels as garden hoses. Nitric oxide turns the knob and allows more water through, but if the hose is bent, pinched, or full of sediment, you still won't get good pressure. Companion habits straighten the hose, flush it out, and help the pressure flow freely. Let's break down the most powerful research-backed habits to combine with your daily nitrate routine. Habit number 1, daily walking, the circulation multiplier. Walking is the single most underrated vascular therapy for seniors. When you walk, especially within 1 to 2 hours of taking your nitrate dose, you create a powerful synergy. The movement stimulates endothelial cells to release even more nitric oxide, blood flow increases, oxygen delivery improves, and your cardiovascular system begins to adapt and strengthen. The protocol: 10-20 minutes of easy walking after your morning nitrate dose. Focus on nasal breathing, not mouth breathing. Keep the pace comfortable. You should be able to hold a conversation. What happens? Circulation to legs improves. Blood pressure stabilizes. Mitochondria become more efficient. Mood and energy lift naturally. Habit number 2, strategic hydration, fuel for blood flow. Nitric oxide dilates your vessels, but if you're dehydrated, there's not enough blood volume to fill them. This is why some people feel dizzy when their blood pressure drops. The vessels are open, but there's insufficient fluid. The protocol: drink 8-12 ounces of water with your nitrate dose. Add a pinch of sea salt or electrolyte minerals. Sip water consistently throughout the day, not all at once. What happens? Blood volume stays optimal. Oxygen delivery improves, kidneys function better, energy remains stable. Habit number 3, heat therapy, passive vascular training. Heat exposure, whether from a sauna, hot bath, or warm shower, triggers nitric oxide release and improves endothelial function. For seniors who can't exercise intensely, heat therapy acts as passive cardiovascular training. The protocol: 15-20-minute warm bath or shower, not scalding, 2-3 times per week, best done in the evening to promote relaxation and sleep. What happens? Blood vessels dilate. Heart rate increases slightly, mimicking light exercise. Circulation improves. Sleep quality enhances. Caution: if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure or heart conditions, consult your doctor before using saunas or very hot baths. Final thoughts: your nitric oxide restoration plan starts today. Let me bring this all together for you. Your blood vessels are not fixed. They're not permanently damaged. They're dynamic living tissues that respond to what you feed them, how you move, and how you care for your body every single day. The loss of nitric oxide with aging is real. It's measurable. It's dangerous. But it's also reversible when you give your body the right tools. Here's your action plan starting today. Morning: 1 teaspoon beetroot powder or equivalent nitrate source, squeeze of lemon for vitamin C, 10 to 15-minute walk within 1 to 2 hours. Throughout the day, avoid antiseptic mouthwash, stay hydrated with mineral-rich water, manage stress with breathing or gentle movement. Evening: optional, warm bath or shower for passive circulation boost. small serving of berries, or dark chocolate for polyphenol support. That's it. Simple, sustainable, and scientifically sound. If this video helped you understand how to support your circulation naturally, please subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I share evidence-based health strategies like this every single day to help you take control of your health at the root cause level. Your heart, your brain, and your entire body will thank you. Start today, 1 teaspoon, 1 step, 1 choice at a time. Thank you for watching.